everybody, it's Kerry from Folio, and I am here with the star of the hit show Extreme Makeover Home Edition and personal, well, that was a favorite too, but and a beloved favorite, Trading Spaces. He's been an actor, a model, an activist, so many things, jack of all trades, that's what he calls himself, and he is Mr. Ty Pennington. Hey, Ty, how are you?
How's it going?
Oh, it's going great. Oh, I'm so excited to see you.
I'm excited to be seen.
I am Kerry with Folio, and you are coming to Jacksonville to do the home and patio show tomorrow, I believe. So we just wanted to chat with you real quick ahead of that,
Yeah.
And see which of your homes are you in right now?
I know that sounds so pretentious, but I'm.
No, I said it, so it's okay.
Well, yeah. Well, the good news is so yeah. I built a beautiful place down in So the place in Florida is a really interesting story that I'll share because I'm going to be taking the stage at the Jacksonville Home Show. I think Saturday at 1 p.m.
That is correct.
Yeah. But yeah. So I went down. I've always had some friends from Atlanta that moved down to St. Augustine.
Right.
My best friend, basically, his mom passed away, but she'd had this property, and then he sort of took it over. And I came down, and I was like, "Oh my God, I love this." But even from Atlanta, like when I was younger, not only did I sort of was a rebel child for about a year, and like and so my parents sent me down to Brunswick, and I had to go to Glen Academy for one, like I think it was my junior year. Oh. But I would take these runs down to like Fernandina Beach, and so I'd go check out the surf and all that. So I always wanted to like come back later and try and find a place down there. And so one day, me and my buddy were because I was building a house when we did the one near Jacksonville out in Homestead, and we discovered this sort of fishing cabin that was like a Mayan ruin behind this bar on A1A, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it, but I have to like take this on as a project. And everybody was like, what are you doing? Like, why? But I ended up really creating just a pretty incredible place. And so then my mom saw it and then immediately retired and said, oh, guess what? I'm moving to Florida. So then I started living with my mom again. I'm like, wow. So this is what happens. You turn 50 and you live with your mom. So, but yeah, that made me just such a catch. And, but then I've had friends in Savannah for a long time. And they, a friend of mine who used to see me when I was in a punk band was like, she was showing me this really amazing real estate that was very affordable in Savannah. I was like, you got to get in while you can. I was like, okay, whatever. So I went. And so eventually I found a really cool place in Savannah. And I forgot how charming it is. It's like incredible. It's like an English village.
Like a movie set. It's like someone made it.
Well, and they're shooting a lot of that here, a lot of movies. But I had forgotten because you would think from Savannah, I mean, from growing up in Atlanta, that I'd see enough Southern homes that I wouldn't be that smitten. But the way Oglethorpe laid out these gardens and these parks, like it's crazy charming. And like during COVID too, like I think the whole world started visiting Savannah. Like it's just always got tourism. So I'm also friends with the president of SCAD, and I love being around a good environment. So just being near all the artists, like it's just where I needed to be. So I go back and forth between Florida because it's only 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I basically live, I'm bi-coastal, just same coast, but I'm bi-beachal.
You're bi-state.
I'm bi-state. Yeah, I'm bi-state.
Interstate.
Yeah, not tri-state, but bi-state.
Interstate.
Yeah.
Interstate.
So, but yeah, so it's awesome, but I love it. And I also really love like where I am down in Palm Coast, which is just south of St. Augustine. But a lot of people just don't realize how charming St. Augustine is. Like,
no, what do you love about it?
I mean, it's sort of like it's kind of wild that one person can sort of dictate like how a certain city has charm, right? In Savannah, this guy Oglethorpe did it and like just really nailed it.
Right.
But Flagler, when he built the college and the hotel down there, like just setting that whole look for that Spanish, vibe. I don't know of another town that I mean, they've tried in other cities, or maybe old Florida used to look like that, but nothing looks as charming as that city. It's just, I mean, it's the oldest city in America. So yeah, I
Right.
mean, it's just so damn charming, and the houses. And so and I was watching one of these fixer up shows, I think it's called In with the Old.
Mhm.
And they're showing a couple that had taken on like this pink house that's right downtown St. Augustine, and like how they deal with the coquina walls and all that. And I love that. Like it's so awesome to see. So yeah, I just love the charm of both these old cities. And it's funny because most people think of me as like a mid-century modern,
Right.
guy, but
Hippie guy.
I love like restoring historic stuff. So I
Yeah.
mean, I collect vintage everything. I kid you not. Like
Okay,
amplifier.
what do you collect?
I collect vintage guitars, vintage amplifiers, vintage doors, vintage windows, vintage pottery, vintage albums, vintage clothing, vintage
Okay.
painting. Like it's great. Like I mean, I've traveled a lot, but like I used to live in Japan, and
Oh, wow.
I know it's a long story. It's when I was in fashion, but the fashion was pretty hilarious. Like I was like modeling golf catalogs. It's a high end stuff, but I would go to this like sort of like recycling area where they would throw things away. But the Japanese, like when they're done with something that's old, right? Because they want to reboost their economy, you can
Right.
only hold on to your stereo for like 15 years.
Okay.
And like they do a thing with their car too. If like you've had your car for more than 20 years, you have to like throw it away and get a new one. And so they would cut the cords on all their electrical equipment. And I would go in this pile, and there's like JVC, there's like Akai, there's Fisher, there's like all this incredible equipment, and all that's been done is the cord's been cut. And so I'd go get a new cord.
Wait,
I'd put it.
they're literally cutting the cord.
Yeah, that's it.
Not just
And
figuratively cutting them. They're literally.
So I found like these 8-track tape karaoke machines from like the 60s. Well, no, that would have been the 70s. But like, and I'm like, this is like, you'll never find that again. So like, I just collect a lot of like interesting stuff. But that's why I had to buy a warehouse in Savannah, because I'm like, okay, that you know how small the houses are. Like
and no movement.
yeah. So anyway, that's where I do my art and all of that. And one day I'll fix that up. But right now it just holds my stuff.
Well, okay, that's good enough. All right, so one of the things like you've already alluded to, and you call yourself, at least according to Wikipedia, which we know how accurate that is.
Yeah.
That you call yourself a jack of all trades. What can you not do? What are you not good at?
Well, I tried open heart surgery, and it just like
you tried it.
I could tell, yeah,
you tried it. It was that lucky person.
Well, yeah, I here's what I'm not good at. I'm not good at sort of well, close friends would tell you I'm not good at verbally communicating, but as my mom, who's a child psychologist, said, his verbal skills weren't great, but listening to him was like trying to drink from a fire hydrant. And I was like, wow. And so
that is the best description I think I've ever heard of anybody. That also applies to me. So I'm gonna have.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with ADD, right? Like you have these ideas, but you don't filter them yet. You just like start screaming them out, and people are like, "Oh God!" So, but because of that, you can also induce the energy of other people, and go like, "Yeah," and then you can do this. Oh, and then we can do that. And so, like, I love it though. That's my favorite part of the design process is coming up with the idea, because it's just like you're literally at the eureka moment, and then you have to like figure out how to do it. But I love the eureka moment, so I keep doing it. But yeah, so but when I write things, like I'm a better writer now. I mean, I write some songs, when I write some stories that are pretty, I like to think I have some humor, but I'm better when I take the time to write something. I'm better than if I am just trying to verbally explain something. That's why I work well as a team, because just like my brother used to do, he'd be like, what he said was he kind of wants a cookie, and I'd be like blah 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 blah. So it's like nothing's changed. I'm still blah 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 blah. But yeah, but I mean I'm good in the. So here's what I think about what I'm good
at. Are you good at bowling? Can you bowl?
Believe it or not.
Of course you can.
Well, no, hold on. So I'm one of the luckiest human beings. My brother would tell you, like, oh my God, you could fall off a building and land on a pile of golden, feces. But I I I have these friends that are all musicians in Atlanta, and a couple of them are pretty famous, like Driving and Crying and things like that. And so I was friends with like all these other people that also were friends with them. And so um, it was one of those times where I was definitely a young man, um, and so we ended up going bowling in the middle of the day one day. And it was like there's like six of us, and we're like, we just wanted to have a little bit of beer and do some bowling. But they're like, hey, I'm sorry, it's league day. You can't get a lane. And we're like, well, how do we get a lane? They're like, you got to join the league. I said, guys, let's join the league. So we joined this league. And I collected these old cars. I had this, I think it was a 62 Nova wagon. And they said, well, what's your name going to be? And I said, the Faded Hoods. And they were like, great name. And so we started bowling. And I've always been, I'm a traveling Woolberry. So even back then, I would be in town for 2 weeks, then I'm out for 1 week, and then I'm back. So whoever was on my name, like whatever my name on the team was, we'd have these different guys bowl for me. And this guy, David, I can't remember his name, but he was in a really good band in Atlanta. But he had to keep his nails long because he was a guitar player, and he would still somehow bowl amazingly. So my numbers would go really, really high because he would bowl for me when I was out of town. So, but we had guys that were literally throwing their bodies in the gutter. I was like, wow, that was a gutter ball. So so we were not great, but we stayed in the league. And it was one of the most fun things I've ever done because the lack of caring about winning was amazing. And that's the kind of sports I enjoy.
Yeah. Oh, me too. I'm not a competitive person at all. Okay. I know I only have a few minutes. So I'm asking you two very important questions.
Okay.
This was a question somebody asked me to ask you. How do you start your day?
I don't know what happened, but I get up early now. Like
me too.
Like when does this you know what I mean? Like, but I get up early and I unfortunately I still have to have coffee. Like I can't get going unless I mean, look, I grew up drinking Coca-Cola in Atlanta, Georgia. So I think your body just gets used to it because I tried one day without it, and oh my God, you just never wake up.
Or all day.
So here's what I do. I get up, I have a cup of coffee, I look at all the things that I didn't respond to the day before. And then I get on a bike and I ride around, town, whether it's Florida or Savannah. I just get on and I ride just to get my blood flowing. And then I just start making noise and start getting things done.
Okay.
But I try and exercise and have fun if I can, just because at this point I don't play soccer like I used to, and I just want to live longer.
That's
yeah.
All right, and my last very important question: what is always in your refrigerator?
What is always in my refrigerator?
Not including condiments, because that's just a given.
Okay, olives for sure, and a jar of jalapenos because I like spicy everything. But the other thing that's always in my fridge are frozen grapes. They're just the best. They're like little frozen chunks of sugar just waiting to like make your summer day so much better. So frozen grapes, so good.
You know what? I get grapes all the time, and I never have thought to freeze them.
Oh my God! So take them off the stem, put them in a Ziploc bag, right, and then throw them in. But make them small bag, like sandwich bags, so that you're not freezing like a whole bunch. That way you have individual packets. Right. But then I swear to God, it's like you'll be like, oh my God, these are so good, especially in the summer.
And it's going to be really great because I could tell everybody I got this idea from I don't know, Ty Pennington.
Yeah. Just be careful; they don't get lodged in your esophagus. If they do, use the Heimlich.
I do know how to do that. I know how to do the self-Heimlich. I watched.
That's good. That's good. I love your hair, by the way. That's so amazing. It's awesome.
Thank you. Well, you'll get to see it in person on Saturday when you're here at the Home and Patio Show.
Awesome.
Right. Thank you so much for taking your time. I know you're very busy, and it was fabulous to talk to you.
I will see you Saturday.
I will see you Saturday. Bye.
Okay, bye. Bye. Thanks.
Hello, it's Kerry with Folio. Hey, everybody, it's Kerry with Folio. One more time, take two. Hey, everybody, it's Kerry with Folio. Hey, everybody, it's Kerry. No. Hey, everybody, it's Kerry from Folio. Everybody, it's Kerry with Folio, and I am about to interview. Let's try that again. And I am here with the star of I am here and very excited to be interviewing the star of Extreme Home Makeover. That's not right. Extreme Makeover Home Edition. And he is going to be at the Jacksonville Home and Patio Show tonight. Not tonight. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Mr. Ty Pennington.